Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to talk about why climate change matters in India, particularly in my state Uttarakhand, and afterwards I'll explain the climate feedback mechanism. We humans have tried to dominate this planet, and the earth has served as basis for the material wealth enjoyed by many in the developed world. As our population has grown dramatically over past 100 years, the planet's ability to handle all our needs has come under stress. Climate change caused by emissions from industries and other human activity is making the world warmer, disrupting rainfall patterns, and increasing in the frequency of extreme weather events. No country is immune to these forces, but India is particularly vulnerable. The Indian Himalayan region, one of the most climate sensitive regions of the country, stretches across the states in western and eastern Himalayas and provides critical ecosystem services for communities in mountains and downstream plains. Uttarakhand, a vital segment in the Himalayan region, is most vulnerable to climate-mediated risk. Several studies have documented a notable temperature rise over the region, especially in the mountainous areas, and attribute recent natural catastrophes and extreme weather events like receding glaciers, upwardly moving snowline, depleting natural resources, erratic rainfall, irregular winter rains, advancing crop seasons, fluctuation in flowering behavior of plants, shifting of cultivation zones of apple and other crops, reduction in snow in winters, increase in intensity and frequency of flash floods, drying up of perennial streams, etc. This is why people of Uttarakhand should worry about climate change. In climate change, a feedback cycle is the mechanism of acceleration or deceleration of warming trend. But at first, the question is, what is a feedback cycle? A feedback cycle is some cyclic structure of cause and effect that causes some initial change in the system to run through a series of secondary effects, eventually influencing the initial change in some way. There are two major types of feedback cycles or loops. The first is negative feedback or a balancing loop. Negative feedback cycles are where some initial disturbances cause a series of secondary effects over the course of cycle return to minimize the magnitude of initial disturbance. On the other hand, positive feedback cycles are the cycles where some initial disturbances causes a series of secondary effects over the course of cycle which return to the cause and increases the magnitude of initial disturbance. In the context of climate change, these are the processes that can either amplify or diminish the effects of climate forcings. One of the positive feedback cycles is ice albedo. Again, what is this term called albedo? The amount of energy that is reflected by a surface is determined by the reflectivity of that surface, which is called the albedo. A high albedo means that surface reflects majority of the radiation that hits it and absorbs the rest. A low albedo means that surface reflects small amount of incoming radiation and absorbs the rest. For instance, fresh snow reflects up to 95% of the incoming radiation. Therefore, fresh snow has high albedo of 0.95. By contrast, water reflects about 10% of incoming radiation, resulting in a low albedo of 0.1. Since 30% of the sun's energy is reflected by the entire earth, the earth has an average albedo of 0.3. Generally, dark surfaces have low albedo and light surfaces have high albedo. Now we can understand what is ice albedo. Ice albedo feedback arises from the simple fact that ice is more reflective, that is, it has higher albedo than land or water surfaces. Due to global warming, as global ice cover decreases, the reflectivity of Earth's surface decreases, resulting in more solar radiation absorbed by the surface of the Earth, which results in the increase of temperature of Earth. On global scale, the importance of ice albedo feedback decreases. As the Earth's surface warms, there is relatively less ice available to be melted. Thank you for your attention.